welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Jacob and I am the owner of Modern Folk Embroidery. And this is my little Flosstube channel where we talk about all the stitchy stuff. This is a special episode because I have some exciting news to share with you about two brand new releases, which will be a little bit later in this video. But I'm going to keep this one short. I have a really interesting little interview that I did a couple of weeks ago, which will be in the next episode, but that will be shared with you very soon. But let's just dive in. I do have some stitchy stuff that I want to show you in this episode. There's not a lot because I've been working on a couple of projects that I could not really share with you yet. I touched on that in the previous episode and now I can share it with you. So there is a lovely Dutch magazine called, let me just see that, sorry for the noises, Borduurblad. This is a Dutch publication. It is number 103. It is only €5.99 and it is filled with really lovely patterns and projects and just like nice articles. And I was approached with a request if I could design a special design for them, which is in this issue. I will show you. There's a nice interview here that you can see, and then there is some more stuff here. And then there is, in the back of the booklet, there is like a whole pattern section as well with lots of patterns and projects that are in this magazine. So yeah, I'm quite proud of that. It's really nice. It's a beautiful title. It's the first proper Dutch magazine that I've been in, as in an embroidery magazine. So that's really nice. And I had a really lovely chat for this interview. So yeah, it's out now. You can probably find it online as well. There will be sellers that, if you look up Borduurblad, and it's the issue 103, that's the one that you'll be looking for if you want to stitch the pattern that I designed. And the pattern that I did for them is this one just here. So, and I'm really happy with it. I really like the color combination with the linen and the floss. I stitched this with, I believe it was DMC 931. Yeah, 931 on hand-dyed linen, just some tea-dyed, pure white linen, which gives it a really nice cream look. And then I finished it with an open hem stitch. And everyone is asking me, will you do a tutorial for this? And I keep saying yes, I will. I'm planning to do it, and yes, I will do it. It's just been really hectic. I didn't have the peace of mind to sit down and do a proper tutorial, but I am planning. I'm trying to get to do some videos in May. Please don't hold me to it if I don't, but it is my goal to get some nice tutorial videos for you out there this coming May, because it is a really nice technique to finish, and I'm planning to actually put this on a much smaller piece than this, but like a nice fitted frame, sew it on there, and then put it on a frame, something like this. So that's this one. That's the only finish that I have for this episode. I hope to have another finish when I do the next episode. I am working on a Scottish reproduction sampler, which you can see here. Now this sampler is, I'm absolutely in love with this. Well, I wouldn't be stitching it if I weren't in love with this sampler, but I genuinely am in love with this sampler. It has a really charming lady here, and then there's a gentleman here and a beautiful vase with tulips in the middle, and some lovely border. This border sort of repeats at the bottom, and then there is a bit of text which, when I purchased it, I could not figure out what it said, and I could not figure out who the maker was. but through really analysing the linen and the woolen threads that were kind of like tiny remnants that were there, little fibres, I could check to see what was originally written. So I know the girl who stitched it, or at least I think I know the girl who stitched it. I do know her name. I know that she was from Glasgow, so it was stitched in Glasgow in the 1700s. But again, the date I am not 100% certain of, because that is quite hard to read, the last sort of numbers on it. But yeah, I managed to restore it quite fairly. But it is an interesting sampler. There's a huge portion of letters. She did 3 regular cross-stitch alphabets, then she did a reversible alphabet, which I'm still working on, and mine is not very super reversible. I would have been happier if it was better. I might just get this actually here, like this. I don't know if you can see it a bit, but that's the back of the work. And you can see sort of after the first 3 alphabets, you can see that there is some, these crosses here are kind of reversible, but yeah, I could do a better job probably with that. But I see this sampler not as a piece of perfection, I see it as a learning experience. So I am learning to do the reversible, so I hope that when I reach the Z on this sampler that my reversible crosses are properly done. So there's little squares on the front of the stitching and then little crosses on the back. And then there is a full set of letters here which are all eyelets, and they took forever to do because she also did really nice borders with full eyelets. It is a lot of work, and I kind of wanted to get this finished, so I was getting a little bit annoyed with myself, and I was like, I must finish these eyelets. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the result, and I think by the end of next week I hope to finish the majority of the stitching on this piece, and then as soon as it is ready I will photograph it, and then this will be available as well. So, but I will announce the release of this design here on my Flosstube. In the last Flosstube I also talked about my stitch along, my 2021 mystery sal, and how I was not happy with how the sorry for my creaky chair, with the blue floss, the DMC 393, and I've heard quite a few people actually complain about floss that just doesn't want to sort of work or breaks down, and it is probably a die batch, and I've just been unlucky that I bought a whole lot of that die batch. But it was so frustrating, and then I was looking through Instagram and I saw all the beautiful colourful versions, and there were so many exciting additions, and with every colourful version I was like, oh my god, that's beautiful, I wish I had picked those colours. And then I saw another one and I was like, oh, that's really nice, all those teal blues that this person has used, that's really nice, I want to do that. And then I saw something with beautiful greens or reds, and it all looked amazing, and I wanted to stitch them all. So I made the incredibly wise decision to do a restart on 46 count, because why not? And this is how far I have gotten with that. Now, I have not touched this for weeks because I have been so busy. I've started this and I just didn't continue this. Now, the plan is that I am going to work it in 4 different colors. So there is the light color and the dark color, and that's pretty much worked as the pattern sort of indicates which to use. But I'm alterating it with an ochre and a brownie color, and the ochre color will also be used for the negative space here. So the bit that's left open, I'm going to fill that up with the ochre, as I think the contrast is too subtle with the fabric and the blue. It is interesting though, because with certain light it looks really quite beautiful. I really like the subtlety, but then I think that this is too dark and it is not in balance, so I'm going to give myself even more work and just fill this completely so it's full coverage. That I don't know if I will finish this. I honestly have no idea about this. It's an interesting project. I am excited about working on it, but it might be 2029 that I finish this one. But it's all good. There's no rush. There's no deadlines. So yeah, it's exciting. We're working on that one steadily further. But speaking of SALs, I was approached by the lovely people from Stitchy Days, which I have shown a couple of times, this Japanese magazine, if I wanted to design a mystery sampler for them, a mystery stitch along. And every 6 months there is a new issue of their magazine, and they had asked me if I could do one where the first part is published in April this year. And I said, like, I'm really honored. That's really, really nice that you're thinking of me. So I was really flattered that they were thinking of me. And I've designed a pattern, and it's super, super hard for me because I can't talk about it except for the bit that is in the magazine. But I am very excited to share this with you. It is... I wanted to do something that sort of reflects my Dutch heritage as well as a designer, because I thought that was quite interesting to show that to my Japanese friends. So I decided to make a pattern that can be split in 3 parts, and this is the first section of the pattern that you can see here. And it is just, again, it is a gorgeous magazine. It's full of really cool projects, so I definitely recommend getting this one. There's really helpful tips on how to do your stitching. It is all in Japanese, so if you don't speak Japanese, you can still follow the pattern. The pattern is a really lovely booklet right in the back. I won't show that on camera, but it is just here, and that's like full with the patterns. Of some of the patterns that have been mentioned in this book. And like my previous pattern was only available as a kit that you would have to order, this one, the pattern is actually published in the magazine. So if you get this issue here, which is issue number 33 of Stitchy Days, and that's the Heartwarming Life series. It is a publication from Nihon Vogue, I believe they're called, Japanese Vogue. And you can buy them online. I will put a link in the description. Just keep in mind that the shipping and all that will be a little bit high because the magazines are shipped from Japan. I know there is an eBay, an Etsy seller as well that sells it, and probably she has the new issues as well. But yeah, that's Stitchy Days for this time. So this time it's coming out, and then in 6 months, which brings us to October, I believe, and then next year in April, the third part of the puzzle is revealed, and then you have the whole chart. And there's several options to stitch it. You can stitch it in a negative way with light fabric, with light threads on dark fabric, or you can stitch it with dark threads on light fabric, and then you stitch the negative, if that makes sense. But it's all in the magazine. You'll see the photos, and it is quite self-explanatory. But yeah, that's the magazine. In the last video, I also talked about this beautiful book, which is available through the UK sampler. My mind has gone blank. This is really terrible. I have written everything. Sampler Guild. So yeah, it's available through the Sampler Guild. I will link to that as well in the description here. I had forgotten to do that in the beginning, so that people who watched my video quite early on, they might not have seen the link, but I'll link to it now as well. It is really worth the purchase. It is a beautiful book. As you can see here, I'll show a few things here. It is really gorgeous. It's beautifully illustrated. It's beautifully written. Yeah, it's a great title, this one. It's a nice heavy book as well. And because I had 2 copies through a mistake in the mail, I got 2 copies, and I said, like, if I get the second copy as well, I will give that away. So I have done a little sort of comment generator thing, and if you used the word tokens in the description, then you were eligible to get a copy of this one. And let's see who is the lucky winner. Right, that was interesting. So it is won by Johanita Bosma, who is Dutch, and which is quite nice because it saves me on shipping. So thank you, Johanita, for participating. This is honestly, it's not rigged if you think it is, because you could see it on the video, which is there. But I do feel like I should do a little sort of giving away thing at some different point, and then I hope, then I really hope that someone in the US or in South America or in Japan or somewhere else is going to win it, because I had said, like, I will ship anywhere in the world. But that does include the Netherlands as well. So yeah, Johanita, congratulations. I really enjoyed reading your comment. It was in Dutch, but she basically wrote, thank you so much, especially the cringy song at the end. And she seems to have enjoyed it quite a lot. And she said, like, as long as there's no kids in the bath that walk into your bathroom while you're bleating quite loudly. True story. She said, like, but I really cannot sing at all. And she said, like, the books that you showed look really good, and I would love to be in the draw for the Tokens of Love book. And you were, and you won. So congratulations again. So this brings me to the releases that I want to share with you. So I have 2 patterns that I want to share with you. There is, well, I think it is no secret that I like birds. I mean, the Blithe Spirits one features birds, and the next 2 releases features birds as well. And I am reminded of a little skit that Portlandia did years ago. Put a bird on it. If you've not seen it, just look up Portlandia, put a bird on it. You will like it. Maybe not, but it certainly made me smile. So yeah, I love birds. And we're really lucky. When I look outside the windows here, everything is becoming nice and green. But we have, for living in a city, the amount of city birds is really amazing. There's quite a lot of variety, and we had some blackbirds who have just raised a couple of young blackbirds in our garden, which was really wonderful to see. And we've been kind of guarding them as well, because the mother and the father would be calling out if there was a cat in the garden, and we would chase it out. So it was a little bit of a stressful period. But yeah, it's so wonderful to see little birdies in the nest, and I think they're building nest number 2 at the moment. So the first release that I have is called the LINNET'S Song, and I designed it. The title was a little reference to a beautiful folk song, The Mountain Streams Where the Moorcocks Crow, which was beautifully sung by Susan McKeown. It's from her album Bushes and Briars, and I have really happy memories of buying that album when we were traveling in Ireland in the 90s. It's a really gorgeous album, and yeah, I would highly recommend listening to that one. But there's a beautiful line in it which sort of refers to the beautiful songs of the linnet, singing her sweet notes so pleasing. And it was sort of running through my head when I was designing this. So I decided to design this pattern, which is in a way plays a little bit with the 2021 stitch along. So it uses negative space to stitch. So there's the inner panel is a nice vase with flowers, and it mirrors, and then there's an alphabet, and then the corners have the negative space, little birdies in the corners. Now, what I like about this design is that it's quite versatile. You can use it in any way you want. You can cut it, you can just stitch the vase with the flowers and leave the bottom half off. I think it would be really nice as either a wedding sampler, where instead of the alphabet you use those letters to stitch the name of the wedded couple. You could use it as a birth sampler with putting in a date and the name of the newborn child, or any other piece as a commemoration thing. I think it works really well that way. It has a quality to it that I feel sort of would do that quite. It would do it justice. You could even make it into a sort of like a larger cushion by flipping the bottom element twice, sort of mirroring it literally, and not keeping the alphabet at all. So yeah, it is a versatile pattern. You can do a lot of fun things with it. It hasn't been stitched. I have literally just finished the pattern, and after editing and uploading this video, I will actually finish the booklet. So it is all ready once this video is live. The second one that I want to share with you is a very exciting one for me. I came across a really old book online. Sadly, I don't own it, but online with sort of little rhymes and verses for children, and they had sort of slightly moralistic little verses as well. And one of them really appealed to me, which was a little saying that said, "Bestow your arms whenever you see an object in necessity." And I quite liked it. I have to say, I misread it the first time, and I read it as "bestow your arms whenever you see an object of necessity," which I thought meant like, oh, nice, when you want to buy something and you see something that you think you need, just buy it. Which I thought was quite a fun excuse to buy stuff, because I think all of us cross-stitchers have way too much stuff, which is great. But it was slightly more moralistic, and it was an object in necessity. So it is basically when you want to spend your money, look at the object or the people who actually need it and spend it on them. So I thought that fitted quite nicely with QUAKER samplers and their idea of helping and doing good in the world. And so I designed this little QUAKER sampler, and my idea was initially to make it a completely monochrome black sampler. And then I watched Caroline of the Grid Needle Arts on YouTube, and she has a lovely shop called Evertotes. I think Evertotes is her Instagram account. Evertote is the name of the shop, evertote.com. And she's a lovely person. I really love her YouTube channel, and she makes absolutely gorgeous project bags. And she also sells Leo and Roxy hand-dyed floss. Now, if you haven't checked out their flosses yet, I really would recommend checking them out. They're absolutely gorgeous. They're fantastic colors to work with. I have not worked with them personally yet. I will soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed that by the next video I actually can share some stitching that I'm doing with it. But I have not come around to order it yet. But I saw the colors and in her latest, when I was designing the latest video, and I was like, oh god, I want to design something with Leo and Roxy Floss colours in mind. And I was thinking I'll do it monochrome, just plum shadow, because that was the new colour that was released then. And then I thought like, maybe I could do a secondary colour. And then I was thinking like, well, QUAKER samplers often had a couple of colours, subtle, but they would be sometimes colourful. So then I threw in 3 colours that I think work really well together. They are Vampish, Plum Shadow and Caramel. And Caramel just has this beautiful warm ochre caramel colour, which is just perfect together with the Vampish and the Plum Shadow. So I got onto Instagram and I started texting Caroline and I said like, I have this idea, would you be up for this? And she was immediately super enthusiastic and she said like, how can we do this? What can we do? So this is a really exciting collaboration with me and Caroline, I think. You can see the pattern that I have designed here now. And it is available in Caroline's evertote.com shop now. So I will link to the item in the description here as well. But if you go to evertote.com and you look at the new stuff that is out, it will be there. From her you can buy the booklet, and it's a print booklet that you can buy from her. So from me you can buy the PDF pattern, but from her you can buy the print booklet. But you can also buy the combination with the print booklet and the Leo and Roxy floss that I have actually designed this pattern for. So yeah, you can get the kit either as a paper kit, or you can get it as the kit with the threads and the paper chart. There is no linen included in this, so you will have to get that. But I do want to let you know that there is a limited supply of the Leo and Roxy floss at the moment. So if you get the kit, I wouldn't wait too long. If you decide to get the floss and the pattern, I wouldn't wait too long. So I would just say like, just pause the video now, head over to Caroline's shop, and just get it as long as there's actually stock right now. She will be stocking up later, hopefully, but you never know. It's hand-dyed floss, and it's there now. So, but I was thinking, with the state of the world at the moment, and the sampler says bestow your arms whenever you see an object in necessity, and it is quite frightening at the moment what's happening in India. Now my husband is Indian, and I felt that with all the news that's coming in, and with the situation being so bad at the moment in India, I felt that I wanted to do something that was supportive of that. And so I have decided to, for the full month of May, all of the sales that are from either me or from Caroline, for the pattern itself, not the Leo and Roxy floss, but for the pattern, 50% of those profits will be donated to, I just need to read that out because I've got the website here. It's the website is called covid.giveindia.org. They have a selection of charities, and I will look at the charities properly when I have some money that I can donate. So I do hope that you guys buy the pattern, but that money will be donated to covid.giveindia.org, and I will link to that below here as well. There is a whole bunch of amazing charities, and they really make sure that the help reaches those people that really, really need it at the moment in India. And I will most likely use the money to split it. So if there's a nice amount that I can donate, I will be splitting that money equally among several charities. That's at least the plan that I have. It depends a bit how much money there is to to donate, of course. But I will share in the next video and in the coming videos, just keeping you up to date how much money is generated for the charity. And finally, I also have decided to do a buy me a coffee. So because I can imagine that you say, like, I would love to help out, but I really don't fancy getting that pattern because I don't like it, or you want to donate even more than just the pattern. If you buy me a coffee, or 2 coffees or 3 coffees, how many ever you want to buy me, there's a link right at the top of the description of this video. And for the whole month of May, I am going to donate all the money that comes through the Buy Me a Coffee scheme to covid.giveindia.org. Yes, I think that's all of it today. The video has actually gone longer than I thought it would. It's not that short of a video. Seems there's always more to talk about than I think there is when I put the camera on. So yeah, having said that, head over to evertoad.com. Have a look at the Leo and Roxy floss for sure, because it is absolutely gorgeous. I would really, I can't wait to get my hands on some of that. And get your patterns, folks. And thank you so much for your support. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a little like and sort of give it a subscribe, and hit that bell button if you want to be kept up to date. When you click on the subscribe, you can see a little bell as well, and you want that to have the little lines around it. So ding that bell, as they cheesily say. Thank you so much for watching. I won't keep you waiting as long for the next video, and we'll see each other very soon. Bye bye.